Welcome into another edition of Eric's Rant. As I always say, I'm just another loudmouth with an opinion. So whether you like me or not, here it goes. I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. To the media in the Baltimore, D.C. area, please stop asking Lamar about his contract negotiations. He said that it was stopping prior to the start of the season. We are now going into week two. He is focused on Miami, as he should be. And y'all want to keep asking this man in several thousand different ways. So, what about your contract? Shut up. He ain't talking about it. Move on from it. You have more important things to do than to worry about Lamar and his contract. Let Lamar bring y'all a title before y'all continually want to find out whether this man is staying or whether this man is going. Stop being clickbait. Okay? Because I about had enough of y'all talking to this man. And I'm gonna put it to y'all like this: if this was Tom Brady, if this was Aaron Rodgers, if this was Joe Burrow, if this was Matthew Stafford, would you be asking the same question over and over and over and over again? Please, for the love of Jesus, just stop it. Welcome into the Sports Room, ladies and gentlemen, on a Wednesday night. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, alongside my queen of hoops, Miss Megan Price. And we had a special guest, but we seem to have lost him. I'm sure he'll be joining us
Oh
back
no.
momentarily. My man from Basket Bros. And Megan, why are you wearing that shirt? Why? You gonna
Cause
force
it's
me? You gonna force me to go
I
get
don't
mine? That's
care.
what you gonna do.
I don't care. It's Dak no matter what. I don't care. Number four. You know what it
I
is.
listen, but you ain't in a position to be wearing that shirt, Megan.
I
Okay?
don't care.
All right, that's fine. If we take a break tonight, just know I might go change. I might come out of uniform
I
and
didn't
put
say
my
we were
Eagles on.
winning anything. I just got my shirt on.
Fine. Will Vogel's in the building. Basket Bros, NBA Carousel. This man does everything. He joins the gauntlet from time to time. What's up, Will?
I'm doing great, Eric. When I got that message, I was like lit up. I was like, yes, let's run it again. Actually, speak of the gauntlet, I found out I am going to be a temporary horseman.
Okay. Will Vogel, full time on the gauntlet. I like it. I like it, brother. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. But hey, but Basket Bros is
Will, you're muted. We can't
mine.
hear you.
You guys
Something
can't hear
happened.
me?
I can hear him.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay, so it's
I
me
can.
y'all can't hear, or I can't hear y'all. I have no idea.
Strange. Yeah, I
All
can.
right,
I
we
can
gonna
hear
figure
both of
this
y'all
out.
just fine.
Give me a minute to get this technical difficulties, but when we come back, if y'all everybody can hear me, this is what we're gonna be breaking down tonight. Be back in a moment.
Awesome.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sports Arena. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes, yes. My apologies. That must have been my on my eye. Listen, I apologize for technical difficulty. Let's get down to business. We are going to start right here. It is Game Three going on tomorrow night of the WNBA Finals between the Las Vegas Aces, who are up 2-0, versus the Connecticut Sun, who desperately need a win. So, Queen of Hoops, you know I'm starting with you on this one. Talk to me about this. Does Connecticut, do the Suns force a game 4?
I look, I'm going to give it about a 60-40 chance that Vegas actually closes it out on tomorrow night. I do think that Connecticut is able to do it. Like, I think I saw flashes of a very strong defensive team. They're going to have to pick up some of their offense. We have not seen DeWanna Bonner do a whole lot in this series compared to what she's done the rest of the playoffs. So definitely want to see that come out of her, but it just seems like Vegas is unstoppable. It's like inevitable what's going to happen. So to me, it's they are going to win the championship regardless, but is Connecticut going to be able to win any games?
Will Vogel, talk to me, sir. What's your feelings on this next matchup that's happening tomorrow?
I'm a Seattle Storm, so we've handled Vegas all year, and they eliminated us. To be honest, I think it's a sweep. I think Vegas is too good. They've had a great year so far. They're coached by a phenomenal coach. They have great players like Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray. Connecticut's good. Like Megan said, they have DeWanna Bonner. But Vegas has just been rolling, and they have just beat everyone on their way to the championship. They've beaten good teams, and I'm not saying Connecticut's bad. I just don't think they have the firepower that the Aces has, because Asia Wilson, double machine, Plumlee, great scorer, Chelsea Gray, good scorer. So do I think it's going to be a close game? I think Connecticut will fight, but I think Vegas will just explode in the fourth quarter and win this championship.
All right. So listen, when I look at this, I can't ignore what both of these teams have done. The fact that Vegas was the reason that the Chicago Sky, the team that I cover, did not have the number 1 seed because they had the tiebreaker. We both shared the best record in the league at 26-10. And then I saw the physicality that Connecticut brought to the Chicago Sky. There were constant mismatches, and as Coach Kurt Miller said, it was going to be messy. It was going to be messy. That's exactly what it was. When I look at this game, I'm going to be very honest with y'all. I truly feel like it is over tomorrow night. I believe the Las Vegas Aces are going to go into the Mohegan Sun and close this out. Will Connecticut do everything in their power to force a game 4? Yes. I just don't think they have enough to get it done based on what we've seen these first 2 games. Let me welcome in our man, Blue Hawks 13 and Sideline Sports Zone, Mr. John Shear. Good evening, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, John.
Good. So, John, we're talking about the Connecticut Sun, Las Vegas Aces WNBA Finals, sir, and I'd love to get your thoughts on, is it over after tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, the Sun got what they wanted. They wanted to take Eric Wilson out, get revenge on him and the Sky. They got their way. That's what they want. Of course, they want to be champions. Everybody wants to be champions, but they got their revenge from last year. It's over. The Aces have been the best team in the league basically all year, and nobody's really been able to keep up with them. This was inevitable. They're going to be champions, whether it's the next game or the game after or whatever. I mean, there's just nobody that comes close to them. This was fate all along.
So, Megan, let me ask you really quick. Do we, because, they are being coached by a woman who has played in the league, learned under Greg Popovich, and now in her first season has taken all of that knowledge, all of that experience, brought it to this team, and in her first year, they are the number 1 seed. They have the best record in the entire WNBA. They won the Commissioner's Cup and now are 1 game away from winning their first title. How much of this is Becky Hammon?
I think a portion of this is Becky Hammond, but also I don't want to sit there and act like this team wasn't very well developed before she got there. And I think you have to give a lot of credit to Bill Laimbeer, not only for the team that he put together, but in being able to step back, him wanting to step back, but help figure out who was the right person to replace him. Because Bill Laimbeer has a great relationship with these ladies, not only Asia Wilson, he has a great rapport with them, but he knew Jackie Young was going to be who she is now and who she's turning into. And a part of that is his development with her. So I think Becky is a big part of this, but I also think that it was the expectations were title or bust whenever they hired her, because we already knew what type of team that they had. Like they played the Seattle Storm in the 2020 finals. They were knocked out last year in the semis by the Mercury. So this is a team that has had postseason success. They just haven't won that championship. So yes, Becky is a very important factor. I think she's the one that was able to bring the cohesiveness and realize they did lose a player in this off season, and that was Liz Cambage. She was one of the tallest, biggest presence in the WNBA at the time when she was in the league. So they had to redirect their offense, and you see Asia Wilson and Dearica Hamby eating in the post a lot during the regular season, whereas Dearica Hamby has been out for the postseason. And last night was probably the first game we've seen where she had some real minutes, and she had an impact defensively. Her presence was there, but point wise, she's not quite where she needs to be, and they still just look astronomically better. But I will say, shout out to Connecticut, because they definitely look like the number 2 team in the league. Like, it looks like we got the top 2 teams in the finals.
I would agree to disagree, Megan Price, but we're gonna keep it moving here tonight on this.
It was not a dig at. It was not a dig at Chicago.
Megan,
It was
Megan, it's okay. You are entitled to your opinion. What I will say to you is simply this, and then we will transition. Okay? I still have love for your Dallas Wings, and that shirt is horrendous. We're gonna move on to our next topic.
okay.
My man Will Vogel, Basket Bros own. The NBA is talking expansion, and they're talking about bringing Seattle back and adding a Las Vegas team to the NBA. So my question to you, Will, and to the entire group here tonight is, if Seattle and Vegas are added, which teams do you think from the West are going to move to the Eastern Conference?
It's definitely tough. First off, I want to say I'm glad they're thinking about bringing Seattle back, because Seattle should have been back for a while and they shouldn't have left. Vegas, great city, growing city, just got the Raiders. Probably going to get the Oakland Athletics eventually. But there's 3 teams in mind. I know you said 2, but there's 3 teams in mind. First off, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves. The reason I'm saying the Timberwolves is because they're in the Midwest. Who else is in the Midwest, you might ask? The Chicago Bulls. They're both in the Midwest.
Well, the Chicago Bulls are already in the Eastern Conference, though.
Yes, the Bulls are in the East, Minnesota's in the West.
Right.
You can move Minnesota. The other 2 are New Orleans. They were in the Hornets, and then we got the Charlotte Hornets back from them. They could be an Eastern team because they're in the Southwest. And then lastly, you got Memphis, because that's like Charlotte is right next to Tennessee, and it's like the East. So if I had to pick above those 3, I would probably say Minnesota and New Orleans, personally.
All right. John Shear, what about you, sir?
Well, it sounds like to me nobody wants the Hornets. That's what you're telling me, Will Vogel.
Well,
nobody wants them, and y'all just
We
keep
love the
trading them
Hornets.
back and forth. Nobody seems to want them.
We want to keep them forever. No trade.
Yeah, we're enjoying beating them up. Spoken from a Heat fan. Shout out to Miami Heat. I mean, yeah, you're right. The Memphis Grizzlies could easily be in the East. I mean, like, you could easily have. I mean, like, look at it this way: you have the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East, in football. Like, none of these divisions in these sports like always make that much sense. So, I mean, if you put Seattle or if you put Vegas in the Eastern Conference, like it's not that big a deal. I mean, the Miami Heat it's just another team for us to dominate. That's all that really matters. So thank you. I
Okay.
Oh my
appreciate it.
gosh.
Like it's
How
just
did
more
this become a
fodder for
Miami
us.
Heat
So
conversation?
How did this
Sure.
become a Miami Heat show?
I mean, give us Vegas. Like that's fine with me. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's going to be us in the finals this year anyway. So who really
Okay.
cares?
All right. First time tonight. I'm getting rid
Is
of
that
John. Goodbye, John. Sorry. Megan Price. John, you
Okay,
got to
so
stop doing that. You really do. But Megan, please go ahead.
now, I will say that I do think geographically, it does matter in the NBA where it's different. Like where it's broken up East and West. It's not the same thing as the NFC East, AFC South. Like how those are all kind of spread out. It's not quite the exact same thing. So I think geography has got to play a part in that. And if we're going geography, I feel like Memphis has got to be the team that goes because it's the one that's closest to the East. And I think that they will do well to help the East continue to trend upward because for the longest, about 10 years in a row, the East wasn't incredibly competitive unless LeBron was there. And then the rest of the teams didn't do well. So I think that this would just add to how competitive the East is becoming now. So the Timberwolves are kind of trending up as well, but I think Memphis is already there. We already know what type of team that is, and that's just going to add to that. And New Orleans is trending up also, but I don't know if they overachieved in these playoffs, this past season's playoffs, or are they really going to turn things around? Are we going to see Zion? These are tons of questions that are out there. So I think New Orleans is still shaky. So you don't want to I don't think you want to put them in the mix and moving them around like that conference wise when they're not already like solidified in the position that they're in right now. I think Minnesota would do okay geographically, but I think Memphis is the team that you want to go over there and succeed in the East.
So you have Memphis and Minnesota, or Memphis and New Orleans. Like,
Well,
where?
okay, so if they add those two teams, then each conference would be 16 teams apiece. So you would really only be moving one team. That's if they keep Seattle and Vegas in the West. So it would. I don't know. I'm going to say Memphis. I think that's the way you go.
Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, listen, I completely agree with everybody here except for John that I feel as though Memphis is that if they were to transition to the East, imagine now you've got Brooklyn, albeit as long as KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, and everybody is, healthy and good. Of course, you've
I
got
don't know why you
Boston.
brought up Ben Simmons.
Well, because you know what? He's not on my team anymore, so I can say his name. You've got Milwaukee, of course. You've got Philadelphia. Yes, John Shear, you have Miami. But now you add a Memphis into the mix. And I feel as though, as does I'm sure everybody here, again, with the exception of John, that it would be the entertainment value of adding a Memphis to the Eastern Conference and watching what this young, scrappy team would be like. Because in the West, I mean, let's be honest, in the West right now, it's Golden State, it's both LA teams, the Clippers and the Lakers. And I'll give a nod to Luka.
Phoenix?
We're going to talk about Phoenix, John. That's something else I could have ranted about, but we'll get to Phoenix in a moment. But yes, with the talent that they have currently constructed, Phoenix is definitely in the mix. And I feel like Memphis would be a top contender in the East. Not saying that they're not in the West, but the West just seems to be at that 1 through 4, even 5 slot. It's almost, dare I say, a foregone conclusion that those teams are going to get in. I feel that if Memphis was to go to the East by adding in Seattle and Las Vegas, Memphis would be one of those teams vying for those top 4 spots. Just my opinion on that. So, John,
what would that do to the Western Conference, though? Like, what would that do to the Western Conference if they have 2 expansion teams? Like, how competitive are they?
I think for the first maybe year to 2 years, I don't think the landscape would be that drastic or that different. But again, it depends on which players you can attract to come to these teams.
Right.
And I think that's a major role, you know. If all of a sudden, let's just say for argument's sake, after this year, Seattle and Las Vegas are added for the 2023-2024 season, and all of a sudden KD goes back to Seattle, where he was originally drafted.
No, that's gonna happen. The second he's able to leave, that's where he'll be.
Okay.
I can see it.
But I'm just saying now you're drawing the
hmm
the
And
business
Vegas
acumen.
definitely had Vegas definitely has the pool because they added the WNBA team and that's been so successful for them. Even though we've seen their owner show up at WNBA games instead of
Right.
being at his football games. Obviously, their hockey team they're able to support that. Like all they're really missing is an NBA team, maybe a baseball team.
Right. And to Will's point, the Oakland Athletics very well may transition to Vegas. So,
Oh, right.
any final words from anybody before we move on?
KD would only go there if there's at least 2 to 3 Hall of Famers waiting, and if they've won maybe like 73 games a year before.
Okay. John Shear. Since you brought up Phoenix, John, referring to the
Sure.
Suns, I do want to get everybody's opinion about the ownership and how you feel about the suspension. Now, again, this owner was fined $10 million and suspended for 1 year for comments made, racist comments, derogatory towards women,
Mhm.
pulling down a player's shorts, a male player's shorts. My beef, if you will, and I have a serious problem with this, so I'm trying to elocute my words correctly here. How is this not on the same level as Donald Sterling?
Right.
Don't worry, I'll wait. But somebody please tell me, because
I'm of
I
the
can
same
tell
opinion because even with Mark Cuban, whenever that happened with him, like the only reason that really saved Mark Cuban and the Mavs, to be perfectly honest, is they couldn't necessarily link it back to Mark Cuban directly. Like it wasn't exactly coming from him, but this we know is coming directly from Sarver. So to me, this is no different than Donald Sterling. And different than the Mavericks because they could not prove that Mark really had that directly knew about what was going on in his front office. Whereas this, they have complete and total proof about what was happening, what was going on. You suspend him for a year. Okay, and everyone in his front office is still the same. They know what to do. They know how to run the ship and keep it as is, to keep it status quo. And that amount of money, you think that matters to him? That doesn't matter to him.
No.
No.
I couldn't agree more with you, Megan and Eric. It is just vile. It's despicable. It's disgusting. This guy should be fired, banned from the NBA for life, banned from any arenas. Using derogatory language to women is inexcusable on any level, in any profession. Using racist language, same thing. Inexcusable on any workplace, anywhere in the world, and it's not a good look for the NBA just saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna fine you 10 mil in a 1 year." 10 mil is probably nothing to the guy. He's probably like, "Oh, that's pocket change." Dude, are you kidding me? This guy, we have living proof of this guy doing this, and you're just like closing your eyes and looking away and say, "Oh, I didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nothing." No, we have proof. We have visual and hearing proof of what he did. So I'm very, very disgusted by how the NBA handled it.
John?
All that matters, and I'm going to be honest, is the reason he gets to keep his team is It seems like it didn't affect the owners financially like it did Donald Sterling. That's all it seems to really matter. If it affects the other owners, they'll make a big stink about it. If it affects their pockets, their bottom dollar. If it doesn't, it's not as big of a deal. Like if you start it, that's the only way the other owners really start taking offense and start getting you out, like Donald Sterling, is if you affect their bottom dollar in any some way, shape, or form, guess what? They come after you. Other than that, like these owners don't actually care. Like we try and make it seem like they really care, but if you mess with their bottom dollar, that's just my opinion. But I feel like then they come after you. But if not, it's not as big a deal to them.
So, John, help me
This
understand.
seems worse than Donald Sterling, or at least on the same level. But he's only suspended a year.
I think on the same level.
Like, what is suspending a year going to do to an owner? Like,
Yeah, get to go on vacation.
Okay,
it's not like he's the head coach. It's not like he's the quarterback of the team. Like I said, unless you're affecting the bottom dollar, owners in sports really don't care. That when you start affecting their money, that's whenever they start caring. So that tells you everything you need to know, that he's only getting suspended a year and 10 mil. Like, come on, that's to me what it says.
Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say you buy a Domino's, right? You buy a Domino's, but you're franchised, but you carry the corporate name, right? It's still Domino's. It still says Domino's on the box, right? So you still have to go out by some of the regulations that Domino's puts out in order for you to carry their brand name, but it's your restaurant. So the same thing happens for owners in several different leagues. Like you still have to go by their rules in order to maintain, to stay in the league, stay in that position, stay in that company. And so why is it different consequences for different owners?
Because it matters how much you affect their, but all that matters, Megan, is the bottom dollar. That's all that matters. You think Dan Snyder should keep his ownership? Like, come on. Like, it matters what you do to the other owners' pockets. That's all. I mean, that's all that really matters. I mean, just being honest, I'm not telling you like me. I mean, I think it's awful, but it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the other owners think. If they want you out, that's what matters. If they don't want you out, guess who's keeping their team? Like, that's how this works. Like, we know it's like a small circle. That's just how this game works.
If you guys haven't had a chance, if y'all guys haven't had a chance to see the Untold series on Netflix, they have an episode about Tim Donaghy, the ref that was. Okay, have you seen it? Have you seen it? Okay, that'll go to show NBA is fully capable. So good, Eric. Come on.
I could not. Let me tell you something. I was salivating, waiting for that, because when I saw the Untold, which ones they were putting out, I was. I tell you, I kid you not. I was like, when is Tim Donaghy coming? Because see, I read.
Oh, it was
what
so
AI
good. But
said,
I mean,
and then I followed it up by watching this Untold. Yes. Great documentary. I saw that, Megan. I'm telling you what, I sat up from start to finish and I watched that.
Same.
If you have not seen it, I'm telling you right now, go to Netflix. Listen, you have to watch it, because hearing from the FBI, hearing from the people involved, hearing from Tim himself,
right?
I was like, wow. And
of course, the NBA didn't comment, and of course, David Stern, he's gone. You know what I mean? He passed away.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the role that the NBA played in that, and really the power that they have. I mean, it's insane.
Yes. People, ladies and gentlemen, the two viewers that we got watching this, and everybody who watches the replay, I'm telling you right now, Netflix, Untold. Tim Donaghy, you have to watch that.
And there was nothing good that the WNBA, there's nothing good that the NBA could have said that would have made it any better. Like, just saying nothing was better than anything they could say, because
no, they didn't say nothing. They leaked it. They leaked it. They're the ones that leaked the story themselves.
Now, Megan, it was not proven.
I mean, it's speculation, but
That's-
come on, they are the only ones that gained from leaking the story.
I'm just saying it was not proven.
Okay,
just speculation.
It's speculation.
there's people that know.
Just alleged. That's
Yes,
all
and
you can
those
say.
people, unfortunately, are not the four of us here tonight on the Sports Arena. All right.
Allegedly, I like to drink beer. Those are the two. Okay, that's about on the same level.
Well, we gonna keep the show moving here. Let's get to our next topic. John Shear, a man that you have talked about consistently over the last probably week or two. So I'm coming to you first, sir. Aaron Judge hit home runs 56 and 57. Is he going to break the record, John?
I mean, if it was up to me, I would just walk him every at bat and just force somebody else to beat you because the other guys in this lineup aren't very good. So why not just force somebody else to beat you? Like, it seems Aaron Judge is the only one that can do anything in this lineup anyway. So you just walk the guy and then you move on and make somebody else beat you, which apparently if you just take out Aaron Judge, nobody else can beat you on the Yankees. So that's what I would do. He's going to break the record because he's only 4 away from tying it and 5 away from beating the record in a single season. Yeah, he's going to beat it, but if it was up to me, I would just intentionally walk him every single time and make somebody else on the Yankees beat you, which we know is not possible.
John, can I ask you a question really quick?
Sure.
How are you still on the flagship show, Sideline Sports, every Tuesday at 8:30?
I have no idea.
When you have your two co-hosts, Jake Malik and JB Ellis, who are both the Yankees fans, and they allow you to continually go on this show and spit so much venom towards their baseball team. How, sir?
I'm not spinning it towards their team. I said
Are
that
they
he's
not
going to be the
Yankees
home
fans?
run champ.
Are they not Yankees fans, John?
I said that I'm giving his props. He's going to be the
You're
home run
giving Aaron
champ.
Judge props. You're not
Is he
giving
Yankee?
anybody else on that team props, sir.
Well, everybody else on that team is terrible. So
So
it's
that's
just
what I'm
Aaron
saying.
Judge and everybody
They're not
else.
terrible.
Okay.
They're not
Aaron
terrible.
Judge
Now
is
they went through a dry patch, after the All-Star game. So yeah, definitely that. But and I think they're a little more flawed than what we thought in the first part of the
Yes,
season.
they
They
are.
are not a terrible team.
I just don't know how John is.
You remember when you said the Mets were going to Met? When does that
They
happen? That's
are.
what I would like.
That's
When, John? The season almost over and they're still doing their thing.
John,
They
we're in
blew a
September.
10-plus game lead multiple times
John,
and
we are
let
in
the
Sep-
Braves get. But then
You
that's
just-
close.
How many
John.
games are in a season? 162.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of games they messed up. The Mets have been playing good
That's a
ball.
Mets. It's
They-
typical Mets.
John,
It's
we're in
not
September
typical Mets
and we're
thing.
still talking about the Mets. Do you understand that I have to live with this? Do you, John? Do you? Because I don't think you do, John.
I come on every
Typically by
Tuesday
now-
night and have to deal with Yankee fans, so like it's worse for me because there's 2 of
Okay,
them.
John, that's once a week. I got to hear it every
Yeah,
single
but once
day.
a week is too many. Listen to Yankee fans, man.
John,
2 of them.
I got it every
Well,
for an
single day with
hour.
the Mets.
Jay just said the Mets are currently down to the Cubs. So, make sure you tune into Confidential also.
Yes, please tune in to Confidential. But Will Vogel, talk to me about Aaron Judge. Will he break the record, sir?
As another Yankee fan, John, because I am from near
I'm
New
sorry
York.
to hear that.
Hey, it happens. Do I think you'll break the Maris record? Yes. The record's been around for far too long,
The only one that
and it's bound to fall. Do I think he's going to beat the Bonds asterisk steroid record?
I
No.
don't acknowledge that.
I don't either.
And
I
you
don't
two are
think
just
he
so
breaks
wrong.
that
That's so
record.
disrespectful. But go
No, I
ahead.
completely agree. No. That's three of us on that train.
No, I don't acknowledge it at all.
Yeah, no, I don't
Despise
fool with
Bonds.
Barry Bonds.
But with
Okay.
that being said, yes, he's going to beat
Continually
Maris.
chopping down another brother. I see
And
it.
no, John, the rest of our team is not terrible. We got good players. Do I think we're going to win the World Series? I would love us to, but it's going to be hard because we have to go through a lot of good teams. I'm being realistic as a realistic Yankee fan. But yes, I do think because there's a lot of games left and he's only 4 away from tying, 5 away from beating it. I think there's like maybe a little under 2 weeks left in the season. Yes, he's definitely got it in the bag.
Saying, John, talking reckless.
I love
Talking
this guy.
reckless,
Thank
John.
That ain't, it's
you.
nothing new. That ain't
I
nothing new.
appreciate it. I mean,
Big
the
Papa
love I
Pump,
get.
John. That's gonna be your new name. Big Papa Pump.
John's
Man.
the only Orioles fan I can really stand.
Thank you.
I
Lump them in with the rest.
Even though I don't like Orioles fans.
all
They
right.
dream, they think they're in the Cal Ripken days, but they are not.
If we only had $200 million more in payroll, then we'd catch up to you.
Steinbrenner's dead.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're gonna transition because I'm giving the floor to our Queen of Hoops because Megan Price, here's what I know about her. Unfortunately, she's a Cowboys fan. She's a Spurs fan. Dallas Wings. Texas Rangers. Am I correct on baseball?
Correct.
Okay. And then there is the soccer, which Megan Price, I'm turning the reins over to you because this is your forte. Please enlighten us with not only Champion League, but also the Premier League.
Let's go.
You can leave Will on for this one too because his team is number 1 currently in the Premier League. Now this past weekend would have been I think match week 6, but with the death of the Queen, all of the games were postponed. And there's still some games this upcoming weekend that are going to be postponed too, but there will be some that are played.
I would have been playing.
Okay, just for that, goodbye, John. Goodbye, John.
How long has it been since Arsenal has been this good, Will? You guys are currently sitting number 1.
Will,
Well,
you're an Arsenal fan?
I am. I
He
lived
is an
in
Arsenal
London.
fan.
Okay,
Hey,
y'all keep going.
I lived in London. To answer Eric's question real quick, I've been an Arsenal fan because I lived in London. I have like 5 Arsenal jerseys. The last time we were this good was a long time ago. It was the Invincible days. It was like 2003, 2004. So this is I think this was our hottest start since then. And we've had some hit or miss seasons lately. As a realistic Arsenal fan, do I think we're going to stay number 1? No, because you still got Liverpool, who I know they're struggling right now. And they've had their struggles.
I was about to say they're at number 7 right now. They only have 2 wins this season. They have 3 draws and 1 loss, and one loss.
Watch
Let's
out,
go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah,
I'm
Eric,
sorry,
I've
Megan,
been
but
an
I had to get that in there. Go
Arsenal
ahead.
fan
My bad.
since- I don't know if you heard. I've been an Arsenal fan since London. As I was saying, you still got Liverpool. They're good. They're going to come back. They've got great players. They've got a great coach. Man City's really good. They got Erling Haaland.
We know what Man City's capable of.
So, and then I know Chelsea's going through some trouble. Just got a new manager. Chelsea's always good. Tottenham are rivals. You guys are always fighting. So, do I think we're top 4? Potentially number 4.
Okay.
But the problem is every time we fight for top 4, we're in the Europa League. So it's really tough. We are definitely, I think, a top 5 team for sure. Like, we are growing as a team. We've got a great goalie. We got good chemistry. We got a really good signing, Gabriel Jesus from Man City this offseason. We got Martin Odegaard. We got good players. We lost to Man U our last game. That was really tough because they're struggling, and that was just bad defensive play. I watched the whole game. Bad defense. But the good thing is we are playing Brentford this weekend, and Brentford's notoriously never good. So I think we'll beat Brentford.
Well, I was trying to explain it to Eric as far as Premier League goes and where the teams in London, what it's like. You'll have Arsenal fans. Derby between you'll have Arsenal fans all over town. You'll have Man City fans all over town. You'll have United fans, Chelsea fans. No, hold on. Tottenham fans are in one neighborhood, and everybody hates them. So you don't find Tottenham fans outside of their neighborhood.
It's called the North London Derby for a reason.
Right, absolutely. I think now Tottenham lost their match yesterday in the Champions League. Now they're currently playing in Champions League and Premier
Oh,
League.
we're not in the
And
Champions League. Nope.
right. We lost to Sporting, which is pretty shocking. We are currently 1-1 in the Champions League. I don't know how well I expect us to do in the Champions League because not only do you have a couple of teams, you got 4 teams coming out of Premier League, but you also have Barcelona, you have Milan, you have Napoli's, you have PSG, and you have Real Madrid. So you have some teams that are internationally great besides not being in the Premier League. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go real quick, Megan. Sorry to interrupt.
go ahead.
I don't think a Premier League team's winning it. I think it's gonna be Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or one of those other powerhouse leagues.
Yeah, I mean, it might be PSG. That's who I'm most impressed with.
PSG's scary right now.
Yeah, they are really good right now. They are 2-0 in the Champions League, and they won their game yesterday 3-1. So they're looking really dominant. Tottenham looks good, but they have some games where they look mediocre. Like they have some games like we had a draw against Chelsea. We have not beat Chelsea in 27 years. It's like
insane.
it's an insane amount of time so that we've
But
lost to
I
Chelsea.
give you
But
guys
Arsenal, we are the same thing to Arsenal. Like you guys just cannot seem to beat Tottenham. And we have a matchup
worry, we
coming
will.
on October 1st.
We will.
It's
It's
my
okay,
team
Megan.
against y'all's team.
Megan.
We will.
We're making a bet on that game, by the way.
Yeah, we
Okay,
will.
for
Don't worry
sure.
about that.
Oh, by the
I
way,
want.
And I will allegedly drink some Hennessy.
I'll drink.
we
Yeah.
will talk about that because I want in on this bet too.
Can I?
So,
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Can I say something? The last thing.
yeah, please go ahead, Will.
As much as I don't like Tottenham, I've got to give him a little credit because Richarlison was a hell of a signing. He's played awesome for you guys. Harry Kane is Harry Kane. He scores goals left and right. And then Son. Son's a great role player.
He is my favorite player.
Son,
You know, 2 seasons ago, whenever the Premier League was the first league that actually kind of got back to play once the world shut down, right? So Premier League was the first sporting league that started back, and Harry Kane had asked for a trade. I mean, almost demanded a trade, and it just didn't seem to work out. Man City wanted him. It just didn't work out like that. And now finally we were able to keep him. Like it doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere else.
He's not going anywhere.
And we've, and that was a heavy concern because there he was at the time, top player in the Premier League, which I think Son is right up there now. So they still have to work a few things out on their offense. There's some times when they look like they're a little one-sided with a couple of their players and they leave the other players out of the mix. So still a few things to do, but I think we got the right coach finally because we've been going through coaches a little bit over the last 5 years. And I think Conte's the right coach for us. He definitely does.
As much as I don't like Conte, Conte is a genius.
Right.
I think he's perfect. I think he's perfect for Tottenham.
He's that high energy, cocky coach.
All right, we're gonna have to leave it there, folks. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it, and yes, love to have another Arsenal fan on the show. I love when that happens. So, let's get to the Thursday night matchup, which you will hear more about tomorrow night on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, Season 3, Episode 2. But let's talk about the matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. So, John Shear, which one of these two teams, in your opinion, is going to be dominant tomorrow night, sir?
I mean, even without Keenan Allen, I mean, the Chiefs don't have Harrison Butker, which is huge because the kicking game does matter. But even without Keenan Allen, the Chargers are far and away the better team. I've been saying this. Defensively, they're just better than the Chiefs. They're not going to bow down and back off like the Cardinals did. The Cardinals were just playing scared. The Chargers are just better. And they're going to prove it tomorrow night when they stomp these Kansas City Chiefs. They prove that offense is more fraudulent than let on after week 1, that Kansas City's is more fraudulent than let on after week 1, with Mahomes throwing 1-yard touchdowns and 2-yard touchdowns and running up his touchdown total, like he's going out of style. So Chargers are just going to demolish them. It should be a good game, but ultimately they'll win by at least 14.
All right, John Shear is taking the Chargers on this one. I'll go to my man Will Vogel. Will, who you
Kansas
like
City
in this
frauds.
matchup between the
So
Chargers and the Chiefs, sir?
I think it's a really close game. I think J.C. Jackson being questionable for the Chargers is definitely going to hurt. Butker being out for the Chiefs definitely hurts because Butker's one of the best kickers in the NFL. Keyword, one of them. It's a good matchup between two QBs I've liked Mahomes for a while. I'm a huge fan of Herbert, liked him since he was in college. But the Chiefs had a great win week 1. The Chargers kind of struggled, but still pulled away with the Raiders. I do have the Chargers by 10 because even though they don't have Keenan Allen, they still have Austin Eckler. They have Mike Williams. Like I said, they have Justin Herbert. Their defense is really good. They've got Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. So I've got the Chargers by 10.
All right. Megan Price, who you like in this matchup?
I'm actually going to go with the same as the other guys and say the Chargers, but I don't think it's going to be a domination. I don't think that's the right word whatsoever. I think it's going to be a close game, 17-14, kind of a lower scoring game. Defense is going to be a huge factor for the Chargers. I think that they're definitely going to be able to go and mix things up with the Chiefs. They were able to pick off Derek Carr last week 3 different times. Now, I don't want to say that the Chiefs aren't going to be capable. They're still going to get on the board. They're still going to have a couple of touchdowns. We saw Juju Smith get 8 targets, 6 receptions, and 79 yards in the last game, but that was against Arizona. And we know that Arizona is going to go through a lot of problems in the first few weeks this season. So, and I actually think they're going to not do great the entire season. So I think this is definitely going to be a good measuring game for you to be able to tell if the Chargers have finally kind of turned a corner, turn a leaf, and see if they're going to actually have some postseason success. But I'm not going to discredit Kansas City by any means because just because
they're still dominant.
We heard all off season, John, that they were not going to be the same without Tyreek Hill. And they're obviously, 5 touchdowns. They're obviously, he had a QBR of 144. They did not lose the most important player on the field. They lost one of his weapons.
And they still have Travis Kelce.
So here's what I find very interesting about this whole entire situation. Because Mike chimed in earlier, even though he's not here tonight, he said, I'm picking the Chargers. I thought at least one of y'all would stay the course and side with our dear friend, the one and only Miss Carrie Johnson. Because Megan, now I got to ask you the same question I asked John. How are you on 3 Chicks in a Pod with Carrie Johnson, who is probably one of the biggest?
That's why I said I don't think it's going to be a domination.
Don't start backpedaling now. You done picked the Chargers.
I didn't backpedal. I just
17-14. Okay. All right. What I'm saying is, listen, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Travis Kelce, it's Andy Reid, it's Eric Bieniemy. Now you add Juju. Come on, people. This is what Kansas City does. And on a short week, now they get to play their home opener against the AFC West divisional opponent. Oh, it's Kansas City all day. Give me the Chiefs. Come on, people. Get it together.
Yeah,
I want to be clear.
Megan doesn't back
down. Megan doesn't back down just because she's talking with a Chiefs fan or talking with a Dolphins fan or talking with an Eagles fan. She still sticks to her guns regardless.
I'm not worried about that, John. Why are you
I'm just saying, she don't play that game.
I do think
it's going to be a back down.
John,
fly Eagles fly, baby.
Let me take you back to the old school days. This was an A and B conversation. See your butt the hell up on out of here, man. Let's get to the last topic tonight here on the Sports Arena. Oh, man, I'm telling you.
Booted twice.
Yeah, John continually gets booted.
I'm looking for the sombrero.
Okay. Last thing of the night. And we got to be quick about it because we only got 5 minutes. So I'm going to give everybody 60 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, which team cannot afford to be 0-2? Now, if you look, this is all the teams who lost last week. You got the Patriots and the Jets in the AFC East. You got the Bengals in the AFC North. You got the entire AFC South. And then you got the Raiders and the Broncos in the AFC West. Conversely, when you flip it over, you got Megan Price's Dallas Cowboy, the only team in the NFC East to lose. You got the Lions and the Packers in the
Can you
North.
take the Texans and Colts off there? They can't be 0-2. They're 0-1.
Well, whatever. You know what I mean. Okay? All right, John. Mr. Smarty Pants. Fine. You go first then, sir. Which team cannot afford to be 0-2 or 0-1-1?
It's got to be the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they just got stomped by your future 2022 division champ Minnesota Vikings, and then they play their home opener against the Chicago Bears, who, I mean, if not for that weather, they don't beat the Niners. So congratulations. Enjoy your monsoon victory, Chicago Bears, because Aaron Rodgers owns you. And what he's going to do on Sunday Night Football, he's going to be angry, and he's going to take it out on you in the spotlight, and it's going to be ugly. And you're going to forget all about the Chicago Bears winning, like you're going to forget all about that monsoon victory and them sliding in the water and whatnot. Like Aaron Rodgers is going to own you again. And so it's got to be the Packers. You can't start 0-2 against the division, especially when you're supposed to win 13 games, 12, 13 games, and be one of the top seeds. You cannot afford to lose this game on national television. It's got to be the Packers.
All right, fair enough. Will Vogel, which team cannot be 0-2 or 0-1-1?
It's definitely tough. There's so many good ones out there. But I would definitely say the Los Angeles Rams. Number one, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. I know they lost against the Bills. Actually got demolished by the Bills. Should have been a closer game. You got Cooper Kupp. You got Matt Stafford. You got Tyler Higbee. You got Aaron Donald. You got a good coach in McVay. And you're playing the Falcons. The Falcons led by a bridge quarterback, a.k.a. Marcus Mariota. And I get it. They have Kyle Pitts. They got A.J. Terrell on defense. But this is the Atlanta Falcons, not one of the best teams in the NFL. So you got to take advantage against this week, especially against a really weak opponent in a division that's going to be run by, speaking of the Falcons division, run by the Buccaneers, who are going to win in the division handily. But yes, it's got to be the Los Angeles Rams.
Megan Price.
The reason why it can't be Green Bay is because of the division that they're in, because they own that division. So it's not going to be them. I mean, the Vikings, yeah, sure, they've made some improvements. I don't think that they're going to be able to maintain that throughout the entire season. Then you got the Bears and the Lions, so it's not Green Bay. Same thing with the Rams. I think the Rams are going to be able to bounce back. Obviously, they played a really great team. The reason that it's the Raiders is because that division improved like crazy. Everybody has their eyes on what the AFC West is going to do. Now, I think we saw on Monday night that Denver may not be as good as expected. I think with Russ, they're still going to be able to bounce back some, but obviously they have some coaching issues. But the Raiders division, like you got the Chargers, you got Kansas City, like we all knew that this division had gotten better this offseason. So definitely you do not want to start your season 0-2 in that division.
Megan Price, as they say, great minds think alike, because my team was actually the team that you spoke about. And in fact, it was the Denver Broncos. Listen, the coaching needs to get fixed, and Russ needs to remind people who he is. In a situation like what happened on Monday night, you have to take control. Sometimes you have to be the one to call your own audible and say, I'm not going to follow what my coach is telling me to do. I'm going to go out and secure us a victory. So Denver, you cannot be the team because of the expectation to go 0-2.
That's a great point, actually.
Very good point.
Oh, well, thank you, John. I got one compliment before we ended the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us here on the Sports Arena. Make sure you join us on Monday. We will have Mike and Ray and John and some other cast of characters, I'm sure, back here joining us. So shout out to my man again, Will Vogel, for joining us. Megan Price, 806 Sports and the Sip Off. Blue Hawks 13, John Shear. Will Vogel, Basket Bros. Check him out on Sundays. We will see you guys at a later time. Everyone have a good night and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.